Hello and welcome to the stream. Let me turn off this music here. Yo ho ho! Yar! Okay, welcome to the fourth Digital Homicides discussion podcast talk show thingy. Hosted by Lothar and myself. So today's topic will be piracy when it comes to games. And let me actually, I could show this. Wait a second. Let's show this here. Boing. There we go. Okay, let me get Lothar in here. Hello, Lothar.
Hello, Triton. Hello, well, Mellow, I guess.
Yeah, hi, Mello. Ah, and I'm so scared.
And everyone. Yeah, that was scary, Mellow.
Yeah, it was. It totally was. Okay, so today's topic will be piracy when it comes to games, obviously.
Well, I'm
Main,
going to tell several
mainly.
stories not about games, just because I have some examples.
Okay, so why do people pirate stuff? The obvious reason is money, I guess, because a lot of games or videos or whatever is kind of expensive when you buy it online or when you buy it anywhere. So that's one.
Especially some games when you just pay $100 to get the full game.
Yeah, and we're not talking about half-finished games that will be completed with DLCs and stuff. um, but yeah, most of the reasons are, I think, first money, and another big reason is, and we have that point a little bit later, we go into more detail about that, is to see if games are even running on your end, because back in the day, a few years ago, there have been no demos to try out, so the only way to know if a game would actually run on your system would be pirating it, testing it, and if it ran, most of the people bought it, I guess. I mean, I did it a few times because, yeah, when you heard a game will be really hardcore on your performance, and you're not sure if that's really worth the $60 or 50 or whatever you have to pay in your country. Yeah, I sometimes did that, but I have over 2,000 games on Steam now, and the games that I actually tested like that, I bought them. So some I even bought more than once and gifted it to people. So I think I'm fine.
Well, I'm not that positive as Triton. I'm not thinking that only just about the money and just to try the game. Uh, I think that there is a chance that people want to play something, watch something, let's say listen to something, and you basically have no legal means to, let's say, consume that media. Sometimes that particular seller is not present on the market, or nobody even care about licenses and want to localize this stuff. And this is actually kind of more than relevant for me and mostly Russians. We have this time when there were zero licensed games on the market. When video game consoles just appear in our country, well, they all were bootleg copies.
Yeah, region locks.
First licensed console that appeared in our market, I think that was a Super Nintendo. Yeah, that's about right. Sega was pirated as well, and SNES didn't have a pirated copy and was all licensed copies. But those price tag on those things were just over the top. Basically, 2 or 3 household salaries at the time.
Yeah, already overpriced, and then when you know the average income in East European or countries like Russia or something like that, yeah, the income isn't that big. That's also the reason why normally Steam is cheaper in those countries to kind of regulate the income with the prices of the games. But yeah, if you already don't have a lot of money, and I know that from Remonia as well, and yeah, then you have to pay 2 months of your salary to get a freaking console. Yeah, that's often not gonna happen. So
And that's just a console
yeah,
without any games.
exactly. And back then there was no internet really where you could download games or stuff like that, and wouldn't work on Super Nintendo anyway.
Yeah, well, basic. Also, PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 was also pirated copies, but while PlayStation 1 was kinda affordable, PlayStation 2, oh boy. Do you remember how much I told you it was in dollar cost?
A lot. When the
More
PlayStation,
than 3,000, more than $3,000, I think,
yeah, that's
or something.
crazy. I think the release price back then was $999 or so, the official price, or something like that. It was kinda
Yeah.
expensive back then.
Well, it's not that kind of expensive compared to what they wanted from us.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, 3 times the money is definitely, yeah, it is a bit overpriced for what you got.
Eh, but that console already had chip in it, so you shouldn't buy licensed games. We basically had no licensed games.
Hmm.
They all were bootleg copies. So beat me, I guess. Right now, I actually don't know if my PlayStation 2 chipped or not. I actually should try to burn an ISO
Yeah,
just to test it.
just for testing reasons.
Yeah, it's not like I want to play Persona 4 with original dub and I have Persona 4 with English dub.
Hmm. Okay, so I
Yeah.
guess that was a bit
Short
about
introduction, let's say.
that was a bit about the reasons why people do it. So why is it wrong, or why isn't it wrong? We already had a few points about that. The obvious point why it's wrong, it's kinda, or no, not really kinda. It is hurting the developers or the studios that release the things.
Basically, it's
Imagine,
hurting everyone who have a license and want to return a profit for said license.
yeah,
License.
exactly.
License.
And it also kind of hurts other customers because companies have to integrate DRMs that might mess with your system, but we will also talk about that a bit later.
Well, not kinda. We as well, but also the other man.
Yeah, so what did Melo write? Yeah, sure. Some people just say, I have the money, but I don't care. I just pirate it all the time. And it's also
Well,
one thing if you pirate it for yourself, or if you make money out of piracy. So if you pirate something and sell it in school, for example, because I know that happened back in the day, where you
we
bought.
basically didn't have that kind of stuff. We had exchange part. When one came with one game, other came with the other game, we change games and we basically expect to get the game back.
Yeah, but that's still kind of private use and not making it commercially. But as soon as you ask
Yeah, but
somebody
that's
for
still
money,
pirating.
Yeah, it's still
for some.
pirating, but yeah, it's a difference, and that's also a point about ROMs for Nintendo stuff, for example. Um, as long as you do it for yourself, companies first they wouldn't know that it is pirated, and then as long as you don't make any money from that, I think they're not okay with it, but they wouldn't mind as much as about somebody who asked for money. Like back then, you paid $5 or so for a disc, and maybe there was one game on it, maybe there were a few games on it, depending what games
Or
there were.
50,000 games on it.
Yeah, or the whole collection of Super Nintendo games on a disc as ROMs.
Or a full NES collection burned on disc for PlayStation 1 that I definitely don't have
Yeah.
and didn't create.
So yeah, that's the thing. When you make money from pirated stuff, the companies will definitely not make money from it. And yeah, the thing is, a lot of people work on games and other stuff like animes or movies or whatever, and those people kinda want to earn some money for their job. So yeah, that's the thing where it is kinda hurtful. Others.
Well, there are also public domain that right now is everything that older than Mickey Mouse in a public domain.
Yeah, that's true. You can watch and stream a few
And fuck
news.
Disney.
Yeah, that might be another topic. I think you can.
Yeah, I have nothing to say anymore about Disney. Just fuck Disney.
I'm curious what the next Star Wars game will actually be, and that will decide if EA Games will continue to get licensed for Star Wars. But that's just on a side note.
I'm actually not. I think that they just putting it as a slap in the face for every visceral employer who lost their jobs. So no, I'm definitely skipping that game. I don't care about
Yeah, I
that
also
game.
don't. Yeah, I really want it, but I'm not too eager to get it on release or something because of what EA Games did over the last few years.
Well, maybe on sale.
So, let's continue in our nice little script. And yes, we do use a script, kinda. So we want to make it
As always.
a little bit professional. So we're not just pulling stuff out of our asses. Yeah, sometimes we do, but okay.
Mostly we do, but we still do it within the script.
Okay, so I guess we can start with why do we think it is okay to pirate stuff? And
Yeah,
since
I think I'll start with that one. I guess.
yeah, I guess so as well.
As I said, for me, it's more than okay to pirate stuff when there's nothing to. When you have no other way to receive that media. Well, for me, it's mostly manga, anime, comic books, certain movies, certain music. Well, actually, certain games as well. I can't get a grip on those things. And, well, you can say just learn Japanese language and just get on with it, buy those things, and so on and so forth. But can you hear my English?
Yeah.
Do you have any idea how hard for me will be to learn Japanese language?
Yeah, I mean, everybody who wants to get the stuff legally, everybody learns Japanese. Come on, why don't you?
Yeah, Exactly. Some people know Japanese. They making a public translations for those things, and they'll just, hey, we know Japanese language. We know that you don't know Japanese language, so get a grip. Here's manga. Here's anime. Watch whatever you want.
Yeah, pretty much. Learn
And
Japanese.
yeah, and hmm, as a subnote of this stuff, alternatives exist, but in a limited manner. Crunchyroll is present in Russia, but licenses that it's hold for Russian language are really few. They have they didn't have a lot in their library for Russian audience, and also they're only subs, and like 10 anime at all with Russian dub. Uh, beside Crunchyroll, there are at least, I think, 2 or 3 studios that make Russian translations for anime, but god damn it.
I don't
The
know
studio that.
about German
What?
translations or anything, so
Yeah, I kind of can figure it out because you don't watch anime that often.
yeah.
So, what was I? Oh, yeah. The studio that has most power for that, mm, let's say their voice direct. Uh, no, what the name? Well, the voice level for anime can be really, really strange. One character can sounds like he is shouting right in your ear, and the other character can be like he's whispering on the other end of the room
Oh, damn it. So,
on the same volume level.
oh god. Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah, and they think that they don't have this problem. For some reason, they think they don't have this problem. And I know that thing that they think that they don't have this problem because even till this day in their translations you can hear it, not as bad as right sometimes ago, but still you can hear it.
Hmm.
And I think I'll just go with the next part as well and say that there are some companies that just abuse licenses. Those 3 companies that I named, that those 3 companies actually one who put Russian translations for an anime. There's at least several more companies who buy licenses for airing said anime in Russia, but they do nothing with those licenses. They buy those licenses just to resell those licenses. And yeah, so there are several anime in Russia who has a license for airing, but there is no translations, and there will never be because those people have no power to do so. They only want to resell said license.
Hmm.
And basically, for now, it's all what I want to rant about. Well, actually, about anime at this time. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, let's go with the next part that we kind of mentioned already.
Yeah, so another reason when it is kinda okay if you don't have any other way to test the game. Um, if there's no demo, you cannot see if the game is working, and even a demo is not a full experience, so might be a difference to the full game. But if you don't have the newest gaming PC and you want to know if a new game is running on your end, or how it will look if you have to turn it down, yeah, that's the reason why people download stuff. And yeah, I do have to admit I downloaded games for that reason. And when I knew it is running, I bought the game as well. Because then I knew, hey, it's running, and it's normally better to have a legit copy for several reasons. Because
Like not fucking with cracks.
uh, yeah, but you also have the achievements, all that kind of stuff when it's a game from Steam, for
Yeah.
example.
Couldn't care less.
Yeah, true, but some people are like that, collecting cards and achievements and
Yeah,
stuff.
I know.
You also normally get the updates in the game directly, so you don't have to mess with cracked updates, which also can be a bit tricky to get to work the right way. So yeah, that's a big point why people pirate stuff. Another point is, and Mello just mentioned that if you have a legit copy of a game, but there is no way to get a digital copy of it, or if your original disc version is not running for several reasons, like games for Windows Live is gone, and a few games need that. So even if you have the original, you need to get a crack. And sometimes it's easier to get a completely cracked version besides just a crack and your original files. I have a few disks I cannot use anymore because of those reasons. But I paid full money for that, so I think they already have my money. So, and since I don't make money with the pirated copy, that should be kinda okay. I mean, it's some kind of a gray zone, but yeah, I already have the original here, right next to me. So
Depends on copyright holders. The next topic, don't forget.
yeah, and yeah, so that's one legit reason, or stuff that is outdated and will never be produced again, like the ROMs for Super Nintendo games or NES games or older consoles. Yeah, you get an emulator and play those games on your freaking PC. Because if you cannot buy a cartridge, you cannot get the game in one of those old consoles normally. And then you
And
also,
Nintendo thinks that you can't download ROMs.
yeah,
You should buy their games.
yeah, that's the thing. If there is a way to get it, like you said, a few or a lot of games are not even out, or enemies are not even out in Russia, for example. Regions and country restrictions are a problem. For me, being in Germany, for example, it was a problem until now because it changed this year. If you wanted to get an uncut version of a game like Wolfenstein or any other game that used any Nazi symbols in it, um, it's either really expensive to get those uncut versions in Germany, or you just pirate it. I do have legit copies of Wolfenstein and stuff, but I cannot stream them because that would be against the law, because I would show stuff that is not allowed to be advertised in Germany. But the first game that, or one of the newer games that has Nazi symbolism in it is Wolfenstein Youngblood, which is pretty shit as far as I know. But that's also that's a reason for Germans why some Germans have to get a pirated copy, because you want to have the full game, and yeah, a lot of stuff is cut in Germany, so that's another reason. But yeah, I think we can go to the next point. We already talked a little bit about that, and talk about that while I read what Mello wrote.
You mean 3.5?
Yep.
Or we just... Oh, okay. So we basically rambled a little bit about it, but I think it's pretty much okay with retro gaming. Even though that Nintendo thinks that they basically own those games, therefore they can sell it as much as they want. But god damn it, they're selling it for different consoles as well. If you buy the game for Wii U, you should rebuy this game for 3DS if you want to play it on 3DS. For me, it's a little bit greedy. I know that they have a license for those games and they can basically sell them whenever they want, but yeah, I'm kinda lost here.
Yeah,
Also, Nintendo thinks that even if you own the copy of the game, yeah, basically what just tried to put,
yeah,
you
it's posted on
can't,
stream.
you can't download a ROM to play this game on your PC. You basically should create the ROM yourself. If you download the ROM, but you have the original copy of the game, yeah, that one big fuck you from Nintendo.
Yeah, so you would need expensive special hardware to rip off the data from your original cartridge, which is just plain stupid because you already have it. But yeah, I have the website on right now and post that for people to read if they want to. I read that quote from here. The reality of the situation is if you're downloading it for personal use and you're not commercializing it in any way, a company may not ever find out that you've done that, or they might not care too much because it's not necessarily hurting their bottom line that greatly if it's just one individual. Okay, if a few million people do that, it's a bit different, but yeah, still, if you already have it and also if you just use it for yourself, nobody would know.
And
So
also, those games bring profit only to Nintendo, not to original developers.
yeah, because often original developers don't exist anymore. Um, a thing that just happened. Telltale games will be revived, but mainly the name. So even if they announced games like sequels to games they already released, I highly doubt that the quality will be anyway close to the original Telltale. They're just
I
using their
actually
name.
hope that quality will not be the same as original Telltale, because most of the stuff that Telltale put was trash.
It depends. If you see their
I said
games,
most.
yeah.
I said most.
If you see their games as real game with interactivity, yeah, you're kind of lost because you have a few quick time events,
I'm the
but
I'm the person who played almost 2 or 3 years exclusively in visual novels.
yeah.
I had my bar lows, and they didn't get even there.
Yeah, so Telltale games are mostly interactive movies. It's not really the game with the most gameplay in it, I think, is the Walking Dead series and the Minecraft adventure, or was it Minecraft Story or something like that? But a lot of other games, you don't really have a choice, even if the game tells you, oh, this person will remember that. No, this person will do fuck all. Because it's
Or
just,
do whatever the plots demand them to do.
yeah, exactly. It's just telling you, yeah, you had a choice here, and yeah. But that might be another reason for that licensing thingy. Because if a new publisher or developer takes over a game, sometimes the original games don't work that well anymore or like intended. One example would be Leisure Suit Larry in the Land of the Launching Lizards or something. I don't remember the title now, but that was re-released a while ago, and even though it's the original version plus the VGA version, um, you cannot start the VGA version that easily, so you need to do workaround and read about it and stuff like that. So that was the very first game I ever played in my life on a PC, and I finished it relatively fast. And I do have it in several versions. I had it pirated as well because there was no other way to get it. An old game like this. Um, Same, Mello mentioned The Curse of Monkey Island, for example. There was no way to get it. So either you had the original 3.5-inch discs, and that's highly unlikely. And even if you have them,
And the drive to play them.
exactly. And it's highly likely or possible that those disks are dead already because they only hold data for, I'm not sure, 15 to 20 years when you have them in the right place. So if they're outside in the sun, yeah, you can just shred them. Now you can get those older games on Steam, for example, or GOG. GOG is a really awesome platform for old games because they also
Better than
update.
Steam.
Yeah, way better because you don't just get the old version um, in a digital form. You get the old version that is able to run on a new PC because old games were not made for 4 gigahertz, 8 core, 16 gigabyte RAM PCs. Um, they were made for 640K base memory for DOS or something like that. So
Well,
GOG
to be
is really
fair
good.
to Steam copies of old games, some games on GOG run DOSBox as well, but when they can work without DOSBox, GOG goes with community patches to cut out DOSBox.
Yeah,
For example, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodline 2, I know that is not DOS game, and why did I say to Vampire the Masquerade Bloodline? For example, this game is basically on the community part right now. Right now, updates for this game are provided by the creator of a mod who made it possible to run on modern systems.
yeah, that's one of those games where the developer really relied on the community basically to fix the game. The community fixed the
It's
game,
not
and
like developer is around anymore.
yeah, that's true. That's true. But even back then, their patches didn't really work too well, so the community decided to, hey, we want to have a game that runs well, and I have that game, and I played it back then. And it was a really good game, and you can still play it. It's still a pretty good game, and they, I'm not sure when the last update came out, but they still support
In the
that.
last year, I think.
Ah, okay. So yeah, that's pretty nice for a game that is kinda old. Let's see if that is here.
They want to see when it was released?
It was released in 2004, so it's a 15-year-old game. And see,
Eh.
that's the thing. This game is 15 years old, and here's another reason why people pirate it or buy it in key stores. Steam asked for 20 bucks, 20
And this is
euros.
not a community patched version.
Yeah, and it's also a cut version. So for me personally, this game on Steam is completely uninteresting. Low violence. I mean, come on, seriously. That also pissed me off
4
with.
by 3 4 by 3 screenshots.
Yeah, that as well. You can play it in
Gok,
16 by 9. One game,
Gok for sure. I don't know about this copy.
Bulletstorm, for example. I have that in an uncut version, in a collector's edition. It's right next to me, 1.5 meters away in a stand where I do have my original physical copies of games. And yeah, I could activate the key in EA Origin, but I still get the cut German version, which is bullshit because some games live from their gore and brutality, and that game even more because you get points for several kills. But if you do a headshot and get points for the headshot and the head is still attached, that's kind of stupid. So if the only way for me to get some games uncut is to get them in a key store, use a VPN to activate it. Most times those are Russian versions, and then I have
Oh
to
yeah,
legit
did
copy.
you activate that DMC 4K, or it was just
No, I
like,
didn't.
nah?
No, I can't activate that. No matter what I tried US server and I tried Russian server in Moscow. It won't let me activate it.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's another
Okay,
thing. You know, that's you gift
I think
somebody a game and then they cannot use it because of region locks. I mean, seriously, that's just shit. I mean, it shouldn't matter who gifts you something, and yeah, uh, yeah, that's something I'm really not a fan of. The change of the gifting on Steam. Um, Back then, a few years ago, you could just gift stuff from your inventory. That's all gone. So you can only buy it and gift it through buying the game on Steam.
and that's a little bit off topic.
Yeah, it is definitely. But yeah, another reason, $20 for a 15-year-old game is definitely highly
Not patched.
overpriced. Yeah, and the uncut, unpatched version on Steam. So, yeah, I have an original physical copy of that. I do have. Never mind. I have a lot of physical copies. Before Steam came out, I mean, there was no other way to get games, right? You had to go in the store, buy it. And you got stuff. You got a full disc without downloading 50 gigabytes on day one. You got a manual, you got other stuff with it. So I miss physical copies, to be
I
honest.
don't know about you, but I never saw any manuals in PC games ever.
Oh, really?
Even if I buy a licensed copy, there was no manual in it.
I do have a
The
few
only
games.
game that have some kind of manual is Transformer game. That Transformer game that based on the first movie from Lego game creators.
Mm-hmm.
That the only game that have a manual, but well, I don't know what kind of marketing genius made this decision, but this is a licensed copy. Okay. Uh,
Yeah, on a side note,
the
I
cover.
really miss manuals. Manuals were awesome in those Super Nintendo games and everything. Really like those.
Yeah. So basically, what? Yeah, this is a licensed copy. The cover translated in Russian language. The back of the cover translated in Russian language too, but the game fully in English.
Yay. So you would expect to have the game in your language and they just flipped the finger basically and said, nope.
Yeah,
Yeah,
basically. I even questioned several times why the fuck you license the game and sell it even without pirated subs.
hmm. Yeah, we have that in Germany sometimes as well, where you only have the voiceover, where you have the voiceover in English and then you have German subtitles because it's too expensive to do voiceovers in every language. I mean, I understand that. And I don't have a problem with it
We
because I play it in English anyway.
we have a company named uh, I think it's fuck it. 1S, you might know it as 1C, as it's present on Steam.
Doesn't ring a bell.
So just type 1C in the search. This is the company that at least their gaming department is almost exclusively based on licensing and localizing games. they provide the voiceover for many games that were released in Russia.
Hmm.
So, what should I
Like The Witcher 2, for
just?
example.
Yeah,
Because
that's actually their voice actors, and
ah,
they're horrible.
okay, so yeah, they are posted here as the second publisher, 1C Soft Club.
Yes, they provide Russian localizations. I don't know why the second publisher, because they most exclusively deal in Russian localizations. Maybe they got into other localizations as well.
It's even more funny since the game is already coming out of Poland, so uh,
Poland
it's not.
and Russian language are
Yeah,
really different languages,
yeah,
even though they are.
that's not what I wanted to say with it. But you would expect to have more languages from the east being included already when Poland is basically a stone throw away from Russia. So kind of
Mm,
strange that they didn't do it on their own or with another studio from CD Projekt. So that's kind of strange.
I don't know. Uh, but well, Russian language is for some, let's say, not big countries, kind of bad thing because of they want to use their own language, but since they were part of Soviet Union, they have a Russian language as a second language. So therefore, if the game translated in Russian language, it mostly dropped the translation on any other language from that region. Kazakhstan, Ukraine, Belarus. What was that? Georgia as well, I think. Yeah, that might be Georgia as well. They all use Russian language as second state language. So making a at least Russian language localizations made those already covering those markets as well. They don't like it, but some of them don't like it, but still.
Yeah, localization is a huge problem, and also a huge reason why people won't pay for stuff they cannot even get in their language. And yeah, you,
If I didn't knew that the game was only in English, I wouldn't buy it if
yeah,
I return to Transformers.
exactly. That's the thing. If you see Russian language on the cover and stuff, you expect it to be Russian, but then you yeah, they kind of tell you, hey, no, we didn't care. We just wanted to have your money. And yeah, if you would know that beforehand, yeah, why bother buying it? There is no point. So,
I still beat it, but that mostly about how this game is really simple, and I'm really stubborn. So 3-6.
yep. So sometimes pirates can fix shit while the official developers or publishers couldn't care less. One of the points was already mentioned with Bloodlines Masquerade.
And Laser Suit Larry, when new developer taking the project, kinda making it unplayable, while you can still download the previous build from pirate websites.
Exactly. Skyrim was also fixed back then. Fallout was fixed by pirates at the beginning. A lot of those fixes also
Well,
include,
by modders, but pirates included those fixes.
yeah, exactly. We will get to the topic later, but a lot of reasons for cracked games or pirated games are the included DRMs that are patched out sometimes. Not in every case, but in a lot of cases, the performance is better without those DRM systems. And yeah, people with bad or older PCs need every single frame. And there are examples of games that were way more playable after they have been cracked. What was the game that I checked earlier? I think it was it Rage or something? That was before with DRM it was maxed at 47 FPS, and afterwards it was a minimum of 60 FPS, so way smoother to play.
It's basically with Mass Effect Andromeda happened as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there are a
I
few.
think that was Mass Effect Andromeda.
Wait, I think I still have to open. It's not what I wanted.
Yeah.
Next benchmark.
Oh, you mean that rhyme thing?
Yeah, no, it was another game. I'm not sure right now, but we will come to that in a moment.
Yeah, okay.
Um,
And what was that? Oh yeah, older DRMs were really hard for, at least for legitimate consumers. I still remember how I bought that official release of Painkiller. I got home, I installed it, I put in CDK, and I just was fucked by Star Force. Star Force said you can't play this game even if you own this game. It always crashed. And
yeah,
when I
that's
returned to the store and said to the owner, hey, you know, this thing is crashing and it has Star Force in it. He was like, yeah, that's a common problem. Some people actually return with this, not only with this disc as well, but with other games that protected by Star Force, and just going with, we can't run this game. Star Force not allow us to run this game.
yeah, that's really bullshit. And
Well, actually,
you know,
played in Painkiller. I just bought the DVD with 4 games, and Painkiller was included.
you know what's kind of interesting? I didn't know that.
What?
Star Force Technologies is a Russian software developer with headquarters in Moscow. Wow, that's even worse in your case then. I mean,
You wanna say that I was fucked by our incompetent imbeciles?
It was a Russian company that screwed you over. Wow, that really sucks. Yeah, I didn't expect that outcome.
Did they bankrupt? Are they bankrupt? Tell me at least something good thing.
I don't know. But yeah, that's one of the really huge groups, or it used to be a really big group. In March 2006, the VERSE group Reloaded released a vast array of documentation about how Star Force 3 works. Alongside many technical details, it revealed how several resource-intensive procedures were implemented, such as virtual file system and functions protected with a complex virtual machine. So you had a virtual machine running while playing a freaking game. I mean, that alone tells anybody that performance is shit with Star Force and better without. So yeah, a lot of games caused issues on customers' end. And I also had problems sometimes. I bought the original game and it was just not working. Then I said, hey, you know what? Go fuck yourself. And I downloaded it from a page. And that was actually working. So kind of hard that you have to rely on illegal stuff to get the legit stuff you bought running. It's like buying a car and knowing, okay, the motor is just crap. I have to go to a tuner to put in a better motor. I mean, okay, that would cost money,
in
but
this case, not a tuner, but to a, let's say, some Chinese factory, so they could reproduce the same motor, but in the way they think fit.
Yeah, okay, yeah. What do you still
Yeah, I think we can just jump on what
yeah.
race race week video.
The one, this one?
Yeah,
Yeah, we can do that.
we already kinda at this topic.
Yeah, and it starts with a freaking ad. Come on. Damn you, YouTube.
Of the two PC.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's a good one. Okay, so this is from Racewick. I hope I didn't rip that too hard. So thanks for making that video. Let me actually change back to 21:9.
And please start talking when you are going to, when this video is going to end because of stream delay.
Okay, so let's show this video and listen to what he encountered.
Ports, the easier to find is Signature due to Gamer having been taken off of Amazon.com and not redistributed anywhere else due to the film license. However, Signature has a fatal flaw known as Starforce, the hideous third-party DRM software utilized by Ubisoft because it managed to protect Splinter Cell Chaos 3 for over a year. Whoa! Back in its day, the DRM software was known for degrading people's optical drives over time and acting as a rootkit. But since its death, the software's power has only expanded, as in my particular case, installing King Kong Signature Edition corrupted my boot drive. This video's delay was due in large part to me having to spend 2 days troubleshooting my PC with infinite Windows 10 repair loops, even after formatting the entire drive manually in command prompt. I've dealt with viruses, rootkits, adware, and spam bots, but dear lord, I've never faced something this invasive before. Something that prevented the very core of my machine from launching, despite not even installing the game it was protecting on the main drive. Thankfully, little was lost from reinstalling Windows as I took precautions due to losing data in the past. But that doesn't change the fact that what Ubisoft let loose were thousands of disks that'll devour the computer of anyone unaware of the problem. And this was my punishment for being a law-abiding citizen. Had I just torrented the game, none of this would have happened. So if you want to play this game on PC, you'll have to experiment with a virtual machine, install an outdated PC, or be a thief according to law. The only reason I was even able to play King Kong is because I happen to have multiple consoles to play the game on instead, and a fan of the channel gave me their working PC copy, to which I sincerely thank you. Because King Kong is a game worth playing, and while it lacks depth, customization, or replay value, the presentation of its mechanics and world holds up extremely well. And as support through an enhanced edition or just plain legal edition is unlikely, I hope that someone expands upon this solid game's concept. There's so many directions to take with it. Contrasting a mysterious island with immersive, survivalist FPS gameplay and a third-person monster brawler has Game of the Year material written all over it in the right hands, at the right time, and hopefully we'll be able to witness it.
Yeah, so I remember that game. And it was one of those games back in the day where you had a better enhanced edition if your system could handle that, which used, I think, 8 gigabytes more data. And I'm kinda happy to, happy to know about the fact that it might corrupt your freaking disk, because yeah, I was kinda interested in that game.
At least legit copy.
Yeah, the legit copy. Yeah, that's the thing. So if you want to get this game legit, buy it and download it as a pirated version to save your system from getting fucked over. Which
Or
should
buy
not...
it for an older console. What was that? Xbox and PlayStation 2?
Yeah, it was 360 back then, I think.
Ah, okay.
So that was one thing, and other video I'm gonna show now is about benchmarking and stuff when it comes to Rime, the game Rime. So let's show this here. Ah, really? There will be another ad? Are you serious? Come on, YouTube!
But
Fuck
test
you!
Rhyme, which
Seriously,
had a
that's...
Denuvo protection.
Oh my god, really? There's so much advertising on YouTube, it's insane. Every YouTuber should be millionaire by now. And I skipped that freaking ad a few times already. Damn it! Okay, so that should work now. Okay, let's check this out.
Rhyme, which had its Denuvo protection cracked less than a week after launch by Boldman, who had this to say: "The game will be much better without that huge abomination called Denuvo. In Rhyme, that ugly creature went out of control. How do you like 3 fucking hundreds of thousands calls to triggers during initial game launch and save game loading? Did you wonder why game loading times are so long? Here is the answer. In previous games like Sniper Ghost Warrior 3, Nier, Prey, there were only about 1,000 triggers called. So we have 300 times here. Next, 300,000 called triggers were just a warm-up for Denuvo. After 30 minutes of gameplay, it became 2 fucking millions of called triggers. Protection now calls about 10 to 30 triggers every second during actual gameplay, slowing game down. In previous games like Sniper Ghost Warrior 3, Nier, Prey, there were only about 1 to 2 triggers called every several minutes during gameplay. So do the math. Don't forget that triggers is under VM and heavily obfuscated, which obviously does not improve performance. To be fair, the developer did remove Denuvo from the game shortly after it was cracked, which is what enabled the following test. On the left is the game right before Denuvo was removed. On the right is the game right after. We set most of the game's graphics to their maximum except for anti-aliasing, where we opted for TXAA instead of SSAA. Supersampling anti-aliasing renders the game at a higher resolution, creating a GPU-limited scenario which is not what we want. Without further ado, let's get back to the results. Before the removal, the game averaged 87.649 frames per second with a minimum of 50 frames per second. After Denuvo was removed, the game measured a minimum of 64 frames per second and an average of 98.329 frames per second. Frame times measured an average of 11.409 milliseconds and a maximum of 136.199 milliseconds before the removal, and an average of 10.169 milliseconds and a maximum of 65.462 milliseconds after Denuvo was removed. If you're curious how the removal changed loading times, we have already explored this in our previous video on loading times. If you haven't watched it yet, you can do so later. For now, here's the relevant bit. We noted the game taking longer to load on the first run, both before and after the removal. The Denuvo protected build took 1 minute and 39 seconds to load on its first run, dropping to 1 minute 22 seconds on its second run, rising to 1 minute 25 seconds on its third run, then dropping again to 1 minute 8 seconds on its fourth run, and then stabilizing on 1 minute and 7.98 seconds on its fifth run. After Denuvo was removed, the game took 1 minute and 6.47 seconds to load on its first run, dropping to 41.2 seconds on its second run, and stabilizing around 41.76 seconds to 41.38 seconds on its third and fourth runs. Denuvo increased Rhyme's loading times by 50% on the first startup and by 65.8% on subsequent startups. That benchmark tests several other games not featured in this video, so remember to give it a watch once you've finished with this one. We'll leave a link to it at the end of this video. For our final title, let's...
Okay, so that was about Rhyme, and yeah, loading times are insane. Holy shit. Twice the time to load a game with Denuvo. That's pretty crazy.
Well, not exactly twice the time. 60 seconds against 99 seconds.
Yeah, it was, depending on which run they had, was 50 to over 60% difference. So, kind of crazy on its own.
Well, the pirates also mentioned that with Rhyme case, that was something unique. Nier Automata and other titles didn't have that kind of calls.
Yeah, I don't
That
remember
number of calls.
which video I watched earlier where it showed another game that had also higher minimum FPS in the version without Denuvo, which made it smooth all the way through the game. I think, not sure if it was Rhyme. I'm really not sure right now. That was...
I think if you look at the screenshots that I sent you, that was a Mass Effect Andromeda as well. So
Oh no! It was
about
Abzu.
45 or 50.
Abzu was the game, I think.
Oh, okay. I think I have. Yeah, I send you screenshots.
Yeah, so
But Abzu have
there is not much of a
neglected
difference here. Loading times were lower again without Denuvo. The game itself was normal in both versions. This one seems to be Agents of Mayhem. It's also an increase of 7 FPS of the average, but when you have 120 plus FPS, you won't really feel any difference.
Granted, it's always also an indoor environment.
Yeah. Yeah, you have outside areas as well, but in that case, yeah, it was inside. What do we have here? This is still Agents of Mayhem. Loading times, again, way lower without Denuvo. But yeah, if you have a virtual machine that does several checks or trigger, how they called it, per second, I mean, it takes more resources to run Denuvo in the
That's
background than the
open
game.
world.
So that's pretty shit. This here is open world of Agent of Mayhem, so you get higher average FPS. That's pretty much the same. What else do we have? That's Bulletstorm, yeah, the game that I mentioned earlier. You also had to use games for Windows Live. The client had to be running, so you could log in to save your data, and now you cannot use anything of that. You have to get a crack to make, or get a workaround to make games for Windows Live possible to be run on actual system right now.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is, it kind of sucks, and it really pisses me off with Bulletstorm. I really like that game, and I wanted to stream it in a higher difficulty and show it off, but yeah, and I'm not buying the full clip edition, which is basically the uncut version now for everybody, but with a few upgrades on the graphics and stuff, but full price. So no.
I wanted to buy Duke Nukem, but they cut Megaton Edition from Steam.
Yeah, you can still get it in key stores. I have the Megaton edition. Yay! But I also, and I'm still mad about that, I had the original Duke Nukem 3D disc, which had a Biohazard print on it. And I gave it to a friend to play it. Yeah, guess what? I don't have any contact to my friend from back then, and yeah, I never got the disc back, so
Bye, Duke.
I'm sad. Yeah, I have Duke Nukem in several versions on several sites, so I do have it legit more than once. So I'm happy about that, but still don't have the physical copy anymore, which is shit. So yeah, most of the games get lower loading times without DRM. A thing that will be changed in the future, games from Ubisoft on Uplay won't be sold on key stores anymore. So I'm not sure when they actually will start with that, but there might be a point where you will not get a game cheaper in a legit copy. So either you are stuck to Uplay Plus, or just buying it on the Uplay store. They do have sales every now and then. They had a sale a few days ago, and I bought Far Cry Primal for less than €6 with the Apex version, which is including all DLCs. So if you don't want to get a game early on or on release day, yeah, you can still get them cheaper there. And I don't mind to get a game later. It depends on the game, but yeah.
I finally bought The Witcher 3. This game is fucking awesome.
Yeah, I still need to play that. I have that on GOG actually.
Same.
Yeah,
They actually have a sale right now.
Okay. Yeah, I want to get the DLCs for it, but I still should play the regular game, which is way over 100 hours if you want to play the story and most of the side quests. So that's the thing that kind of
I'm
holds me
already in
back.
24-hour mark.
Okay. Yeah, I played it. I did play it for a few hours, but I didn't continue. But yeah, I should do the same that I'm doing with all the other games I'm playing at the moment. Starting it and play it as long as I'm done with the game. Yeah, that will take a long time with The Witcher 3, but it is an awesome game. It looks really, really awesome. But you, I will download a special config. I can send you that because a few graphical settings are kinda turned down even if you have high settings, like the grass, for example, and stuff like that. But yeah,
I have 1050 Ti. I don't need higher graphic settings. I already at 50-60 FPS.
Yeah, it reduces a few things and it ups a few other things, so it should be pretty much the same performance. But that's definitely off topic. This game.
Oh, yeah. Fuck Epic, buy your games on GOG.
Yeah. Talking about Epic. Even if you hate Epic, there are two really awesome free games.
They're giving you free games.
Yeah. Really, really two awesome games, and that's the thing. I get those games that are wishlisted on Steam for me. I get them for free on Epic now, so there's no reason for me to buy it anymore. The developers do get money from Epic, obviously, to have their games gifted away. But yeah, if you get those free games, they will never make a cent from any other sale. So get Celeste and Inside right now. Two awesome games.
Here actually sabotaging Epic right now.
So here in the background,
for stream, but still.
Here in the background, you see Hitman, the new Hitman. So it's not really the first one, but the first reboot.
First one was never really standard de novo.
Yeah, and the original Hitman used. I'm not sure if that used Securom actually. I wanted to check that earlier. Let me look about Securom here quick. It's a dead DRM as far as I know.
Also Star Force.
Yeah, the software gradually fell out of use by the early to mid 2010s. January 2016, a working keygen for online activation of Securom was released on a software cracking forum. Mwahaha. Yeah, see, Bioshock, which I just finished a few days ago, used Securom, and I do have an original physical copy right next to me in a metal case even. So, another game was Mass Effect, Spore, Command & Conquer Red Alert 3, Final Fantasy VII for the PC release, Sims 2 Ultimate Collection, Dragon Age 2, stuff like that. Known problems. May not detect that the original game disk is in the drive. What? So,
oh yeah.
What do you want to do against that?
Know that thing.
You know, you have the physical copy here, right in your hand. Then you put it in. You can not do anything with it. That's bullshit. It's like having a car, but the wrong key. I mean, you have the car, you have a key to a car, but it won't open your car. So,
Because
it's-
luck just went on vacation.
yeah, something like that. So yeah, that's really shit. Yeah, and it was used back in the times when Vista was around. So yeah, there were a few things that didn't really work with Securom. Here about Bioshock.
Like Vista.
Purchasers of Bioshock were required to activate the game online, and users who exceeded their permitted 2 activations would have to call to get their limit raised. Sometimes you had 2 installs, sometimes it was 5. The limit was raised to 5 activations because an incorrect phone number had been printed on the manual and because there were no call centers outside of the United States. Separate activations were required for each user on the same machine. 2K Games removed the activation limit in 2008, although online activation was still required. The game is now available completely DRM free. So yeah, that was the shit back then. You had the original game and you deinstalled it because you had to reinstall Windows, activated it again, lost another activation. So if you reinstalled your Windows too often because you're an admin or try to test stuff like I do, yeah, you were kind of fucked. So you had to get a freaking crack for the original game that you had.
Yeah, Capcom has the same policy, but I think it's hardware based. So you have 5 activations for 5 different machines.
Yeah, that was also a thing for a few other games, where you could install it as much as you wanted on the same system, but only on a handful of different systems. So if you wanted to install it on the PC of your friend or something, yeah, that was 1 activation gone.
Or if you upgraded your PC to a certain degree,
Yep,
that's
the same.
already another activation.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, in 2008, a class action lawsuit was filed against Electronic Arts for its use of Securom in the video game Spore. Okay. Opponents, including the Electronic Frontier Foundation, believe that fair use rights are restricted by DRM applications such as Securom. And yeah, you had to... Back then, you didn't use that much Steam yet. Steam is out since around 15 years or so. So, yeah, you still needed the internet to activate stuff online. Here in Germany, it was never really a problem because we always had flat rates. At least in the 2000s, we already had flat rates. I don't think that you can meter internet for home line. You still get it for mobile phones, but yeah, back then it was not like today. Everybody is online. So I don't really understand why people are mad about having to be online for a game to check, like Diablo 3, for example. You cannot play that offline. You can play the most games on Steam in offline mode, so that's not a problem when you have it installed. But yeah, back then you needed to go online mainly to activate your games and pray to the digital gods that the activation will actually work.
I think I got internet somewhere around the end of 2000s.
Yeah,
So basically, I was, and I'm still really against all this online shenanigans, even with Steam.
yeah, even more when a game is single player only. Why would you have to? I mean, I get it when you install it the very first time to activate it in your account or something like that. But then, seriously, a game that is single player, there is nothing in it that needs online connectivity or anything. I get it in a game like The Division, for example, because that's kinda a multiplayer game if you want to, even though you play it alone, like I do. I never team up with anybody or do matchmaking or anything with people I don't know. I did play co-op with a few friends, but Yeah, if it's a single player game,
But in games like Doom and Doom 2, Bethesda can go right fuck themselves.
yeah, that was also Bethesda took. Yeah, they don't really took it over because they own it tech or it software now. But they re-released the original Doom and integrated an online activation in a game that
And
was back from DOS times where you didn't really get into that.
nobody even thought about this stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So, uh,
And also on the topic of that Doom and Doom 2 copies, they patched out this online activation like 2 or 3 weeks after they put it in, and what was that? Well, the even though news said that you can just activate the game and play it offline, sometime when your console lose the internet, game can just boot you out to the title screen mid-session,
okay. Yeah,
even if you play offline.
sometimes maybe also related to cloud saving, which is not working for a few games on my end in Uplay, which is kind of stupid, and I don't get it why that's happening because those games are not old games. So yeah, you have a way to save your stuff in your account in the cloud, which is pretty cool, I think. But I have to rely on my local save game. So if my disk fails, I do have to play those games all over again. I did back up save games years ago and continued with the games at a later point, but that's way easier now with Steam and stuff.
Yeah. And it's kind of strange when stuff like when companies like Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo ask you to pay for that cloud saving.
Mm, I would always save or I always saved stuff on a console locally because I have a disk that's not used for that much and save games are not that big. But save games can be huge. I don't know a game right now, but I know I had a few games where one save was 100 megabytes or so. So if you wanted to save a few different parts in a game, you easily came up to a gigabyte or so. So that's pretty shit. So cloud saving is pretty good when it comes to that. But back in the day, everybody was complaining about Steam. Oh, Steam, you have to be online all the time. Now everybody's using Steam and nobody really
Yes.
cares that much.
Well, Steam just offered the right service.
Mm.
They not just demanded you to get on this service, but they also provided the good service. Well,
Mm.
compared to the other alternatives.
Yeah, I mentioned it before. Diablo 3 had the same problem many games have on release day, that everybody wants to play it, obviously, because they paid money for that. And then they cannot even log into the game because the servers are not running. So if the back system of the developer is gone or not working, you're kind of stuck with a game that you cannot even do anything with it anymore. So you kind of have to hope when it's an old game. Diablo is maybe not a good example because Blizzard will still be around for a few years.
Come
But
on, don't you have a phone? They'll be on the phone.
but when you had a game that needed online activation or connection to the servers of the developer, and the developer is gone, yeah, you're kind of stuck. Or you have to get a cracked version that actually doesn't need that online crap.
Or there could be sometimes that pirates can't crack this stuff. There is a site dedicated to some games with online DRM, basically released by Electronic Arts, and those games were killed. Darkspore, for example. You can't even correct this game.
Okay.
This game is gone for good. There are several games that right now in the state that when they gone, like The Division, for example, that new, what was that? Tom Clancy, what was that? Not Rainbow Six, Ghost Recon Wildlife. Those games, when the server is gone, those games are gone.
Yeah.
You can't even pirate them.
Yeah. I mean, I get it with The Division because it is using a lot of online interactivity with other players and stuff like that. So I kinda get that. With other games that are single player, it doesn't make any sense. So as soon as you have multiplayer integrated, yeah, it kind of makes sense that the game will not be playable in, I don't know, let's say 10 years from now or 20 years from now, like a
For
single
3
player game would
years,
be.
like with Darkspawn,
Yeah, I don't know too much about
or 4
Darkspore.
years. I don't know either, but I just one day learned that this game is dead. And you can't even play it.
Yeah, the game is currently unplayable due to its DRM scheme requiring a connection. There is no store page on Steam anymore. Game was later relisted with EA saying that they would continue the support for the game. Those who have purchased it prior to the page's removal still have the game and could play it until the servers were shut down permanently on March 1st, 2016. So, yeah. It was released in 2011.
Okay,
Yeah,
5 years.
that's really crap, stuff like that.
But why? What about those people who bought it in the end of this existence?
Yeah, that's
What
the
about
thing.
people who actually bought this game and wanted to play it in 3 or 4 years or 5 years?
Exactly.
That I would be pissed if I put out my copy of first Mafia game in my PC, installed it, typed in my CD key, and get one big middle finger with the word, "You can't play this game."
Yeah, that really sucks. Failure to migrate away from the always online requirement before the server shutdown was tantamount to banishing the title from gaming history. Pretty much, yeah. So they could have prevented that and changed that system, but they didn't care.
Yeah, most likely.
But hey,
What was that?
it's
That
Electronic
was
Arts.
It's not only Electronic Arts, it's Ubisoft, it's Blizzard as well,
Yeah, sure.
it's Activision, and it's actually most of the AAA game producers.
Yeah, they often they want your money. That's what they want. And if they have your money, after a while they say, the next game that will be dead really soon will be Anthem. That's that will have the same problem. Even though you kinda can play the single player, it's also kinda built like The Division. So you can team up with people and play co-op and stuff like that, but even though you could play it single player, I guess maybe a year from now that game will not be playable anymore. They lost already enough money, so
What was that? The Anthem actually has some artificial barriers. If you want to continue the story, you should actually team up with some people to fulfill some quests, let's say.
that's true. Some quests are made around a co-op team. You have that stuff in
quests
2.
like your allies certain number of times, help them, something like that. Those artificial walls. And
Okay.
if you feel those things, you can't progress in the story.
Okay, that sucks even
That
more.
was true in the first month.
Okay. Yeah, when you're forced to do that, I mean, it's good if you have an option in a game like that to be able to do that, but if it forces you, and I talked about it earlier, Wolfenstein Youngblood kinda also forces you to buy it twice for you and a friend, because as far as I know and as far as I saw videos and reviews about it, which in majority were really bad, this game was developed with co-op with 2 people, humans, in mind, because the bot does things good, but a lot of times it screws you completely over, like running in front of a freaking boss. And the thing is, you have to revive your co-op partner, no matter if it's a bot or a human player. You have to. So yeah, that's shit. If stuff like that is forced on you, yeah, it's crap. And if you want to play with other people, you need to have kinda the same quality of internet, otherwise you're faster than your friends, or you can aim better, shoot better, stuff like that.
Also, kinda you should be on kinda on the same skill level.
Yeah, okay, that's a different story.
Yeah, but that's true still. Okay, so I think we can go into the second to the last section. Kinda.
This year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why we are actually talking about this stuff like piracy? Why we think it's right? What we think about this stuff, and so on and so forth. Don't just go with it's illegal, you know. Demand better service. What with your wallet?
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. And don't support shit. Seriously, stop buying DLCs for useless things. Stop supporting microtransactions. Okay, different topic.
Yeah, but still.
But yeah, give people the chance to get a legit copy. Like Lothar in Russia wants to play games and he wants to buy them, but if he has no chance to do that, I mean, he's kind of forced to get the illegal way or go the illegal way.
Change game to anime, I'm going to be 100% with that statement.
Yeah, so it's another thing is, first make it available to everybody, or nobody, and then make it reasonably priced, because some games are so overpriced, it's just insane. If you want to have a game that is really complete 100%, you often have to buy a collector's edition, a special edition, I don't know what edition.
And DLC that wasn't included in season passes.
Yeah,
Season passes and not season pass.
exactly. That's the next thing. Release a season pass and then give us content. And stop with one season pass, because for the game Evolve, for example, which was completely killed by the publisher, they released
DLCs before even tech.
Yeah, no,
game,
they
specs.
did they did release 2 season passes, which first they said, yeah, there will be a season pass, you get those hunters, you get those monsters, you get that stuff, you get that stuff. I did pre-order it because I loved it in the alpha, I loved it in the beta. I still like the game, but not what they did with it. And I did get a special monster just for pre-ordering it, which is okay because you could buy it for $5 or $6 afterwards. But yeah,
Or grind your way to that monster.
one season pass is already too much in my eyes. There are not many games where I really think that a season pass or the DLCs are really good. One of the games that I think is the best example how you should do DLCs and add-ons is Borderlands. There's almost no DLC content that is really bad. Most of it gives you hours over hours of content. The only DLC that I'm maybe not the biggest fan of because of the pricing is the last DLC that was released for Borderlands 2, which was free for the first 4 weeks, which is really awesome. But now you have to
It was
pay.
never actually translated for Russian language, so I have two versions of Borderlands 2, Russian version and English version. Russian version of Borderlands 2 doesn't have this DLC.
Oh, okay. But that sucks. That sucks even more. I mean, that's again the point. Give us all the same or don't give us anything. And hi, Omega. Yeah, $120 for 120 Canadian dollars for Shadow of the Tomb Raider Croft Edition. Yeah, that's the price of 2 games a few years ago. No, not even now. So yeah, if you want to have all the special,
Witcher DLC is also kinda good. They
yeah.
also, at least Witcher 3 has at least 18 free DLCs as well, and 2 DLC that they sell, it's story DLC, and they both included in Season Pass.
Yeah, and they give you a lot of content. And one even gives you a house and stuff like that, where you can build a house and put stuff in it, have people work for you and things like that. And the thing about the free DLCs, that was pretty much the middle finger of CD Projekt to every other developer who asks for $1 for a new skin, or oh, you want to have a new character in a game you already
New
paid full
game
price?
plus $5.
Yeah. Or what was the game lately? I saw a game. It was an Anthem as well, but there was a game where you where you had to pay 10 to 20 bucks to get a new playable character for that. Which
Fallout 76.
Yeah, oh my god, we could do a topic just about that game. And
We can do a topic just about the chess. How I hate them for Wolfenstein Youngblood and putting DRM into games, in free games with that are DRM free and with open source codes.
yeah, so that's the thing. Reasonable price and quality. Back in the day when you bought a cartridge for Super Nintendo or anything like that, those games might had bugs in them as well, but they were all playable. So you knew if I put that cartridge in, it's just working. These days, yeah, maybe not so much. So make them work.
Also,
and
can I also tell my really cool story about anime in Russia that I told you in private?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
So there is one company in Russia that has 2 licenses for anime. One of those licenses were made by the force of pirates. The company just ordered a voice and translations from the pirates and put those things on the disk and start selling them. They bought the second license, and several big groups already had this anime online for everyone. So the company decided that they want to fuck with those pirates, and not in a way that sending them cease and desist. They just send them a lawsuit. Basically, right now, those sites should be blocked, and everything that they ever done should be gone. But we lost only several small sites that were crucial only before those big groups started to put their own sites when you can watch anime online and not just download it from their sites. So those big players just put big announcement. Don't this company? They have this anime on sale and they sell this manga on territory of Russia. Don't buy it. Never buy anything from them. And they basically destroyed the whole business. And I mean, the reason why I think they destroyed the businesses and just go with we don't care anymore, we are not going to block those sites, just because those sites still active. I can still access those sites without using a VPN or something like that.
Yeah, if more customers would be like that to hurt a company, we would have no microtransactions, no loot boxes. Oh no, surprise mechanics in games.
It's surprise mechanics only in EA.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, and if nobody would have bought the stupidest DLC ever, which started all that DLC bullshit for
You
Oblivion.
mean that Horse Armor DLC?
Horse armor that didn't do anything, looked like shit, and cost $4 or so, and people bought it. So they were like, oh, we found a new way to rip people off. And since Omega mentioned that game just earlier, Dead or Alive is a game you can buy for full price, basically. Oh no, the Core Fighters is free. Exactly, you can play it free. But if you want to have the full game, in quotes full game, you pay 70 euros, which is already insane on its own. But then, guess what? Oh, you can buy a season pass for 80 euros. You can buy a character pack for another, what was it, 60 bucks? Another season pass for 90 euros. If you want to have the full package of Dead or Alive, so if you're a 12-year-old not knowing that there are porn for free in the internet and you like stuff like that.
Hey, I like those costumes.
Yeah, true, but I mean, seriously, 946 euros and 31 cents. That's, wow, that's insanity on a whole nother level. I know there are games for trains and stuff like that. I get it if they rebuild a whole town with trains and railways and stuff and ask for 10 or 20 bucks. I get it. I get when a DLC for Euro Truck or American Truck Simulator costs more money because it's a whole a whole state they rebuild, for example. I understand that, but seriously, costume packs and stuff like that for the amount of a full price game? Wow. Hi, Alex Freeman, by the way.
You can also open Dynasty Warriors 9 page. Things that now in DLCs for this game used to be free. They used to be pre-packed in the game.
That sucks even more if you have a game, and I remember it was Assassin's Creed 2 where you saw I don't know if you saw it on a PC, but on console you played mission 13, no, mission 12, and then 15, because 13 and 14 were cut out of the game, and you saw it. It was 100% in the game and then taken out to be sold as a DLC. So it was still there, but you had to activate it. So that was really bullshit. One was the Da Vinci mission, and the other one I don't remember now. But that was a point where I thought, hey, wow, what the fuck is that shit? I mean, I get it if a game is released and after, I don't know, half a year or so, they release something new because they worked on that for a year or so to release it as a DLC. I get it. I understand that. Like for Bioshock, for example, they released a 2-episodic DLC called Burial at Sea, which has Rapture from Bioshock 1 included in a new version. Basically, you get to parts where you haven't been there in the original. So those were all newly designed and made areas and stuff for the game. So I get DLCs like that. Those are real add-ons. Like back in the day, you had a game like Age of Wonders, for example, and then you bought an add-on for it. For the add-on to work, you had to have the original, but the add-on was only half of the price of a full game, but basically gave you a full new game. So you got content for the money you paid back then. These
Well,
days,
content, yes, but a full new game. Just remember Tribunal for Morrowind. It's a new storyline, but you have new location on the Blood Moon.
Alex said something nice. That is how you'd end up if you buy all the DLCs. Alive is how the developer will end up. That's pretty nice. A pretty nice thought about dead or alive. Yeah, you might be dead. They're alive. But yeah, that's just bullshit.
Yeah, also, let's think about, let's go about Doom again, for example. So, as I mentioned earlier on, well, much earlier in Digital Homicide Discords, that John Romero basically giving away for free Doom 1 with one extra episode. And, you know, you basically can pirate the game by downloading Sigil What and playing through Ultimate Doom. And I have one question. Who has more rights to Doom 1 more than original team who created it? Not legal rights, but still.
Yeah. Pretty much.
If John Romero want to give this game for free, he can do it. I get it that Bethesda can just one day knocked on his door and said, hey, if you wanna give away Sigil, just put it in a separate map pack, but not with an Ultimate Doom. But he don't care. He created half of those maps.
It was just released not too long ago, this year.
Yes. And it's already free. You can buy this game for €6.69, but you basically buying not the game, you buying a music that come with this game, and what is going just with that music.
Yeah, that's another point. If you have, or if you want to get a legit copy of, let's say, Quake, for example, the thing is, it is only partially the full version, because the license for Nine Inch Nails soundtrack that was included on the disc, so if you have the original Quake, you can just put it in your DVD or CD player and listen to the whole freaking soundtrack from Nine Inch Nails. When you buy it now, there is no music in the game at all. It is completely ripped off the game. The game is music free, basically. So you have
Quake
to.
2.
Yeah, and Quake 2 as well. And Quake 3 you still cannot buy officially in Germany. But yeah, there is no other way to do, in quotes, illegal stuff to get the original feeling for Quake again, because you do have to get the original soundtrack files somewhere if you don't have the original. So if you have the original and buy the Steam version, that's not a problem. You can easily do that. But
if you don't,
I have the original.
You're just fucked.
Yeah, I have the original on a disc that is not playable anymore. So, womp womp. The first time I played Quake, it was actually from a friend's discs. I installed it from disk when I remembered it right. I'm not. No, wait. No, it was CD already. But oh my god, he was so pissed because I was able to play Quake back then in 1024 by 768, which was really high at that time. And he could only play it with 800 by 600 with lowered effects. And I was like, isn't there more possible? And oh my god, this face, I will never forget his face. Seriously, he was so mad when I said that. He said something like, hey, do you want me to hit you right now? Yeah, I had an insanely expensive graphics card in the 90s, so yeah, there were no graphics card for gaming back then. I had a workstation graphics card, so that was the reason why I could play it in really smooth gameplay with over 1024 resolution. But yeah, different story. But yeah,
Again,
most
don't
of the
just demand better services from the publishers
exactly.
and game developers.
If you put
You can't just go with well, this game has microtransactions in it, but who cares? I don't care.
yeah, the thing
And then you run into the fucking wall that you can't go by without microtransactions.
the other thing we mentioned earlier, if you put a game out on Steam or anywhere else because you took over the license from a game or the name of a company or whatever, make it playable. Like Leisure
Just,
Suit Larry,
like-
for example. Make it playable so we can buy the legit version and have it playable. Otherwise, yeah, you have to rely either to Piracy or see if it is on GOG, because GOG actually cares and they also have quality management. So if you want to have good games, you might want to check out GOG for new games as well.
At least, yeah, new games as well. But if we're talking about old games, so definitely GOG, not Steam.
Yeah.
For example, Overlord first. In GOG, you get Overlord and Overlord Rising Hell with no, not Epic. Overlord and Overlord Rising Hell if you buy just Overlord. But on Steam, if you want to buy Overlord and Overlord Rising Hell, you should buy it as two separate entities. While on GOG, it's one entity.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, I didn't know either. I just heard somebody mentioned it, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
That's interesting. I did play the first two, which were pretty fun actually. I don't
That's only two games. Oh yeah, there was a third game as well. I prefer to think that never happened.
the third game? I thought that Overlord Raising Hell was kinda the third game.
No, that's add-on for the first game.
Okay.
Overlord Rising Hell demands Overlord.
Yeah, that's true. I saw that. I don't know where I actually have Overlord, the first one. I did play it. I do have the second one in Steam. It's a game of the time, simple but efficient. I was a hate release. Why the fuck should I pay again to get a new version of Duke Nukem when I own already 3 versions paid of that damn game? Yeah, exactly. We were talking about Duke Nukem earlier.
Well, we mentioned him.
I do have the version that was taken off Steam, the 3D Megaton edition. I do have the original physical copy as well, located at a friend's that I didn't see for 15 years or so that the original is gone on my end. So yeah, that kind of sucks. And this is what you get when you try to get it on Steam. It's gone. Yeah, game is good, would pay for the new content, but yeah, that's the thing. It's not like we customers or we gamers don't want to pay for games. There's also a reason why there was a...
Sometimes we can't pay for them.
Yeah, and there was
like
also...
Legacy of Kain first. You can
Oh,
buy Legacy of Kain, Blood Omen 2. You can buy Soul River 2, and then the last game that I can't remember the name. But you can't buy the first game because it's in licensed hell, and basically nobody wants to deal with that. It's abandonware.
yeah, I should actually
Pirating
play
it's
that.
still illegal, but you don't know who will knock on your door when you pirate it.
I did put them on Steam in 2017, all of them. So I have Legacy of Kain, Defiance, Soul Reaver 2, and Blood Omen 2. Was there Blood Omen 1 then?
Yes, Blood Omen 1 is actually abandonware. You can't illegally buy it.
Ah, why don't I have that? Oh, Blood Omen 2 is still on Steam? Okay. I didn't expect that.
Why wouldn't it be? It's just the first game.
Yeah, $6 for a 17-year-old game. Eh, if it's
I have
working.
it on GOG.
I think I have it there as well. You can use GOG/Connect, and sometimes you get
Sometimes.
games that you already own on Steam, also on GOG, which is awesome. When they started that, I activated 20 games in GOG that I already had in Steam. So GOG, I think GOG, if they continue with what they do, and also with the new Galaxy client that I still cannot use because I cannot log in. Yeah, I have to contact them. I was invited to the closed beta, but for some reason the system doesn't know that already. So if that works really well, and if they continue to do their awesome job with making old games playable on new systems, GOG has a good future in front of them. And since it is from CD Red, there will always be money to be put into that storefront, and there will always be quality management because they don't want to
And
have shit on
unlike
it.
Steam's, unlike Valve, they're still making games.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. They will release one of the most waited for games in the last few years, I think, Cyberpunk, which I definitely need to get. I really,
Before that, there was Witcher 3.
yeah, the whole Witcher series.
I'll start with the second. First one was kinda, let's say, unexpected success.
It was definitely different than other games back then, and it plays completely different than the second or the third one. But I did like it back then. I didn't finish it, but I did like it. It was kind of new
I finished it.
setting, and
And I think that Witcher is like the most influential series that showed Slavic culture. And that's why I'm really going to be pissed about all those changes that Netflix making for Witcher series.
yeah, I saw that trailer.
They basically screwing up Slavic culture, and I hate it.
Yeah, I was also not the biggest fan of the trailer when I saw that, so yeah, I'm not looking forward too much to that. On another side note, The Dark Crystal will become a series on Netflix as well. And I have a few movies I watched when I was a kid or in the past, which I really loved, and where I don't see any need for a new version because the old version is timeless. So Jim Henson's original Dark Crystal is a timeless
Hi,
masterpiece.
Cliffy.
Hi Cliffy, thank you for the host. It's a timeless masterpiece, and they did exactly what I didn't want it. It's all CGI now. I think there's not one hand puppet anymore in the new series.
Oh, that Dark Crystal.
That Dark Crystal, exactly, with the skags, and
Yeah.
I even know the names of
I
the.
had nightmares from that thing.
Yeah, the scene where they sucked out the life essence from those guys. Wow, that was, I saw that in the cinema back then, and that was really a scary scene. Seriously, that scene where they suck out the life of those guys. Oh my God, seriously, wow.
Back then, kids media wasn't afraid to be dark.
Yeah, yeah, I think it was for 12 years up or something like that. Today it might be
Yes.
16 or so. Oh yeah, Omega, I do have Jazz Jackrabbit. Don't ask me where I have it, but I do have it. I think I even have it on Steam.
Oh, so what? Oh yeah, about that we want to give money to the companies, but we can't give money to the companies. There is a TV channel that own a license for Tokyo Ghoul. They ordered a translation and a voice acting for the series, for the whole series to one of the pirate groups. And you know how efficient that translation was. They made voice acting on the second day after episode was aired in Japan. Episode was aired in Japan, and on the second day it was aired in English, in Russian.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I heard this translation. I think it's good translation, but I can't buy this translation. I want to buy DVDs with those translation or Blu-rays preferably, but I can't. I don't have this opportunity. And when you see it, when I see all those memes that if you pirating anime and not watching it on legit sources, no, that is bullshit. Anime producers making money not with anime but with sales of the merchandise. They don't. They could care less how big ratings for the show. They only knows. They only cares about merchandise sales. Attack on Titans was one of the shows that were close to cancellations, but I'm going to say that the only time that I know when bunch of gaijins actually had an influence on the decisions to continue the series. Eastern audience, by buying official merchandise, actually made it made them continue the series.
Yeah, Attack on Titan is a good example. It took a while to have that in Germany, when I remember that right. I'm not sure if there's even a translation of it, but having a way to get it outside of Japan took quite a while, and often we have.
And the pirates already sold it.
Yeah, exactly. And we do have a problem sometimes with a few TV shows that are running at the moment, or if they come out new, it takes up to half a year or so to have it in Germany, if it will even be picked up by a TV channel. And back in the day, over 10 years ago, so it might have taken years to see a show here in Germany. One example was The Simpsons. The Simpsons started in '89 as a comic in another show, the Tracy Ullman Show, when I remember that right. And I actually saw the very first season of the original Simpsons when I was in the United States in 1990. And it took years before I could continue with The Simpsons in Germany. It took so long for them to pick it up. Back then, it was a bit different. There wasn't that much social media stuff and internet and all that kind of stuff, so it was a bit different. You didn't know about shows from the States. Now you know everything about a new show. A new Star Trek comes out, you know it before it even shows and stuff like that. The same for Married with Children. Oh my god, I didn't see that for I think 5 or 6 years here in Germany. And then I remembered the show when I saw one specific episode where I was laughing my ass off in the United States, and the translation was just bullshit. I mean, it was still a fun show and episode, but oh my god, so much stuff and so much jokes get lost in translation. That's
I can say the same thing about Simpsons translation in Russian.
yeah, I wouldn't have expected anything else. Oh, by the way, Omega, nobody's
Yeah.
playing with money. We don't have money. We have no money. I don't. I don't have money. And you
I'm
wouldn't.
going to have money tomorrow,
Hey, and
but
you
I'm
don't.
not going to have that for long.
You don't hear me play around with my platinum and black credit cards and stuff. Guess why?
I don't even have a credit card.
Exactly, because I don't even have one. So, Big Bang Theory in French. Yeah, I did watch Big Bang Theory in German at the beginning. Then I had a way to see it in English. And oh my god, if your English is good enough, you do have to watch it in English. There are so many jokes that you can just not translate. It's impossible because of those physical terms and
Russian
yeah.
language actually has a good translation of Big Bang Theory. I'm actually really pleased with that translation.
Okay.
It's like
Okay.
perfect.
Oh, that's nice. That's good to know. I do know that the quality of German translations and voiceover is really awesome. Sometimes the
Oh,
German.
yeah, I'm sorry. And again, I can't buy Big Bang Theories either on DVD or Blu-rays because nobody produces them.
Yeah, that sucks.
I don't remember even seeing any Big Bang Theory related merch anywhere.
Yeah, but then also some stuff might be regulated by the government because I think stuff that is too much pro-America might have a hard time getting out in Russia.
Not really. Only when it comes to what?
Only when it is obviously
only when
against.
it comes to release. No, even if it's totally against Russians, this can be posted in Russian language.
Oh, okay.
Red Sparrow is actually translated.
Okay. Huh,
Also,
okay.
what was that? Georgian film Hostages also translated. And this is a whole different story. I don't want to talk about those two movies. I think some people might knew what Red Sparrow is, but if you want to know what Hostages is, I can tell you in private, but I'm not going to tell right now. But yeah, those movies are typical anti-Russians movie.
Okay. Interesting.
So we kind of already at the conclusion and rambling in the conclusion.
Yeah,
Nathan, can I?
kinda.
We're already ending, so can I? Do you remember that stuff that I sent you before? Can I at least put a little bit of a warning about it?
Yeah, sure. Let me. Oh, what did you send me there? Oh.
Just stuff that we might end the stream with.
Wait, you mean that picture you showed me, right?
Yeah.
Let me get this here real quick.
Okay, I'm just starting to talk. So, if you're interested in visual novels and think that that might be, well, at least try to want to give it a try, just keep in mind that those things usually has underage characters. And this underaged can vary from 14 to 18 years old, usually 14 till 17. Well, like that example, The Witch Life Diaries, put on Steam by Sekai Project. They claiming on the Steam page that every character is over 18 years old, but that one of the list characters. Second year high school student. Developer is from Japan. Can you scroll a little bit?
Yeah. So there it shows you the Japanese school
Developer
system
is
and the
from
age.
Japan. Japanese school system, second year of high school, 16 years old. Characters are not the legal age, and this is an 18 plus game. So if you have a problem with this kind of characters, just please ignore this kind of stuff and just know that every visual novel that claims that their characters are over 18 years old, they usually don't. Yeah, they're different. But I'm just saying that publisher claims that they're over 18 years old.
What is the age of consent in Japan? I think is it 16, 17? I think it's a bit
I
lower
think
than
it's 14.
14 even. I mean that's really low. If
It's really low, but it's the stuff that everything that doesn't have a lolly tag on it, it's basically has characters from 14 and up.
yeah, that game doesn't
Everything
even
that
have
has lolly tag on it, it's below 14.
that game doesn't even have an age restriction at all here. So normally
16 years old.
yeah in
This game, normal age restriction, if it's censored version, that it's 16 years old. It
yeah,
basically has a group sex scene.
okay.
In teen version, this only has implementation that it's happened.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't say anything about if it is a censored version or not. Normally, I'm in a group.
It's censored version.
I'm in a group.
A visual novel database actually mentioned that this is a censored version, 16 plus version.
Yeah, you can
Patch
already
separately.
read in the discussion forums that you can get an 18 plus patch from the developers page, which is a thing for a lot of visual novel games. So
Also,
you get the cut version
Tsundere
on Steam.
Idol as well. The publisher claimed that characters are going into the university, but they in a high school environment. They also underaged.
Yeah, pretty much.
So that was a PSA from the web that doesn't have any problem with this kind of content, but doesn't want that those visual novels get in trouble and bring in trouble other visual novels that not erotic and other stuff by proxy. I'm afraid to post this in the forum because of that stuff with Kotaku, but I want to put that on air at least so people would be warned about this.
Yeah, when it comes to censorship and stuff like that, we have so many different laws on our nice little planet. Yeah, normally you have age restrictions for a lot of games in Germany at least. So this game should be at least 12 or 16, and there's no age restriction at all on Steam. Nothing, nada.
It
So
kinda exists.
it's kinda strange. But yeah, the thing is, they they tell you what you get in the game, and when you expect to have 18 years plus characters, you might be okay with sexual dialogue, implied sex between characters, sexual assault, alcohol abuse. Okay, sexual assault is never cool, so I'm already not a fan of the game. But yeah, female characters depicted in their underwear. Yeah, if there are female characters of 18 plus, but yeah, if you don't want to support any child molestation or things like that, and you buy this game, you actually get that. I mean, if they are all 16 and in their underwear, it's not okay for an adult to. I don't know.
Male
It's
male character also 16 years old.
yeah. That's yeah. Yeah.
So for them it's kinda legal.
It is. It is.
For characters.
It is so strange. Yeah, the characters between each other, yeah, but the whole theme and topic and yeah, we talked about that in the other stream
18 plus stream.
already. Yeah, exactly.
So I don't think we need to repeat that
No, I just
at least right now.
I just saw a video. I didn't watch it, but I saw the title, and it was also talking about sexual content and pornographic content in games and so. And I was like, who came up first with that
Coincidence.
idea? So, yeah.
Coincidence.
Mhm.
Coincidence happen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that kinda sums it up. So again, for all the publishers, studios, and people who have the licenses, you can make money with Russia, you can make money with the whole freaking world, but give us a way to buy stuff. If you don't have a way to buy stuff, we're not even stealing from you because
And give reasonable pricing.
yeah, reasonable pricing.
And don't take away piracy before you can afford to fill that void that's going to appear if you take away piracy.
Yeah, sometimes okay, that might sound bad, but sometimes devs can be happy that there are pirates, otherwise their games wouldn't be around that much, or not at all
Toho
after a
Project,
time.
for example, for a very long time, Toho Project sold only in Japan.
Mhm.
But when Toho Project appeared on Steam, it's already had Eastern player base because of the pirates.
Yeah, that's the thing. You often hear about a game or see a game that you never heard before because there is a pirated version out of it. Some games will never be released outside of Japan at all. I mean, you have to work around the Japanese language inside if there's no English. Sometimes you have English, but most of the times you have Japanese signs and stuff. So a lot of games from the past mostly have only been released in Japan. So if you're a fan of a certain game series or something and you want to have that, like Resident Evil, for example, I know that
Resident Evil, not a good example, but
it just
let's say early Shin Megami Tensei games,
yeah,
like
I
Shin
just
Megami
came
Tensei 1 and something like that.
I just came up with Resident Evil because there will be a new VR game in Japan and only in Tokyo. So if you're around Tokyo area, you can go in an arcade and play a special Resident Evil VR game, and PC gamers, yeah, they flip the finger in our direction because there will never be Resident Evil 7 as a VR version on PC. So I will not buy that game because that was the main reason for me to get it. So that's not gonna
I
happen.
still will buy Resident Evil 7 because I own Resident Evil 5 and Resident Evil 6, and I want to scrap that away.
Yeah, okay, yeah, it's a complete reboot, so it doesn't relate to anything that you from before, really, as far as I know. It is a good game. It looks nice and all, but if
As I
there's
tell, I just want to rub away Resident Evil 5 and Resident Evil 6 and forget about them.
yeah, 5
Don't
wasn't.
get me wrong, Resident Evil 6 was a good co-op game, but it was a bad Resident Evil game.
Yeah, it's that's the same with 5. I mean, having a zombie game out in Africa, out in the sun all the time is kinda strange. I mean, in Resident Evil terms. For other games like, I don't know, 7 Days to Die or
Well,
Dying
original
Light.
name is Biohazard and not Resident Evil. Or
Yeah, that's
Japan,
true.
it had more sense.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Even
That's
on
true.
Steam, they named Resident Evil / Biohazard.
Yeah, but only a few versions, I think.
At least all of them. Let me check. Let me see.
But yeah, so
No,
that's
all of them.
all of
All
them.
of them named Resident Evil / Biohazard.
Oh,
At
okay.
least with Resident Evil 5 and Resident Evil 6, it looks like a quality of life improvement because that wasn't the case back then.
Yeah, that's I know that a few had that name, but not all of them. Yeah, really. Yeah, it's also Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. The older ones don't have that tag, but the newer ones all have that. $60 seriously for Resident Evil 2. I mean, I get it. It's a full remake and all, but 60 euros.
It's not only the full remake, it's remaster. It's basically the whole new game.
Yeah, they
It's
completely.
not the same game that was back then. And
Yeah,
I think
that's
we kind of already picked up the topic for the next stream.
yeah, we could do that.
Reboots, remake, and corpse mutilation.
Yeah, that sounds like a plan.
So, yeah.
We'll have enough to talk about that, definitely.
Hey, we already 2 hours talking about that, and I was afraid that we will end up in hour 30.
Yeah, I had that thought as well, but our streams are 2 hours plus because we rant a lot in between, we put in a lot of side notes, but yeah, I think, I don't know.
My PSA as well.
We should maybe put out a poll or something and ask people if they actually like what we do and how we do it, because I have no feedback when it comes to that. I have no idea.
Same.
But yeah, I did get feedback from 1 or 2 people, so they did enjoy what they saw. But I really need to find a way to make the stream kinda more interactive, because only showing the background here and yeah, sometimes showing something on Steam or so, that might be a little bit off-putting. But that's the reason why I want to have an animated logo, for example. So there's some movement and not just a screen there, because yeah, would be nice to have some kind of interactivity.
Oh,
But I think the first thing that will
we're
change.
kind of working on having a webcams.
Exactly, that will be the first thing that will change, that the face of at least me will be present, while face palming a lot and looking confused, and so that might be a thing. Yeah, so I'm gonna stream a bit later again because I have to do a few things now, and I do have to highlight this definitely today or latest tomorrow, because for some reason our very first discussional stream about Epic is gone. I have no idea. I did highlight it, but I think that was kind of lost or something. But there's a collection out on my Twitch channel. So if you go to videos and choose collections, you can watch the last VODs.
That's a trophy name. We earned it.
The dev name in the group name. Call the group the burning bin. the burning pile of shit bin. Yeah, most of the the name kind of fits. I mean, a lot of companies did and still do digital homicide with their games. Fallout was killed, definitely. I mean, I don't see Fallout return in the next 5 years or so. The next
Mass
best
Effect was killed.
yeah, the next best thing to Fallout is the Outer Worlds, which is not related to Fallout at all, but looks a lot like it, plays a lot like it, feels a lot like it, as far as I know from reviews and tests. So
Also, Elder Scrolls kinda dead.
yeah, there will be definitely another one. They made so much money with Skyrim, that's insane. And
They made so much money with Skyrim. You can question why the fuck Skyrim Legendary Edition has bugs that was patched out in previous version.
yeah, and I was one of those who didn't had all the DLCs, because a few of those DLCs are totally uninteresting for me. So I couldn't get the legendary for a really short price or low price. So I'm kind of stuck with the original and mods. But if you mod it
The
out,
original's still good.
yeah,
Mods,
sure.
mod can provide all of those stuffs that in DLCs, besides story bits. But you can buy, you can use crafting mod. You can use the mod that allows you to ride the dragon. You can, well, basically you can put a lot more than original DLCs allows you,
Yeah, I only
including
played
new
17.
races, new weapons, and so on and so forth.
I only played 17 hours of it. Oh, in the search you cannot find the regular old version anymore. It just shows you the new one, the Legendary Edition. But when I go through my library to the store page, you can still buy the old version for 15 euros. That's kind of interesting. Why would you still sell that? I mean, have a store page, that's okay, but why is there a buy button? Because the Legendary is the first that pops up, basically. And Skyrim VR, I was interested in it, then I saw a few streams and I was like, oh my god, I already get motion sick just from watching the stream. And I never get motion sick in VR games at all, never ever. But this would make me puke all over the place, I think. So, not getting into that.
I think we should end the stream.
Yeah.
Because we kind of put out the conclusion already.
Yeah, we kind of did.
In short, sometimes you just can't buy stuff, and if you want to, well, kind of have it or at least experience it, you should pirate it. Old games, I have no problems with pirating them. Nintendo can suck on my Slavic dick. I'm not going to buy Mario in any way, shape, or form. At least first Mario games, first 3 Mario games. Those should be free.
Yeah, kinda.
And don't just go with it's illegal and demand better. If you want to know if this game will run at your PC at all, if you don't have any other meaning to buy this game, yeah, just pirate it.
Yeah, there's one company that does a good job with preventing stuff like that, and that's Microsoft in my eyes, because you can pretty much play every old Xbox game on the newest generation console. And Sony already said back in the PlayStation 3 times, oh, you have the original. Ah, that's good for you. But you know what? Go fuck yourself and buy the game again in the network, in the PlayStation network, because your original won't work on the console. You need the digital version, which is basically exactly the same, just running on an emulator. And Xbox did it the right way. So I think that pirating on PlayStation is way bigger than on Xbox. So yeah, Xbox does it pretty well, I think. That's also a reason why I would buy an Xbox every time before I would buy a PlayStation.
I will buy the shit out of that game.
By the way, on the good
Enega,
side,
comment.
Marvel Spider-Man Game of the Year edition includes all DLCs for 40 Canadian. Might be ported to PC. That's awesome, and that's a reasonable price. See, 40 euros Canadian is around, I think, 35 euros. So around $30 or so, US dollar. That's a good price, you know, for a Game of the Year edition, and that's the reason why I'm not that mad that Borderlands 3 will be exclusive for a year on Epic Store, because I couldn't care less. In a year, there will be all DLCs out, there will be all patches in, there will be, I guess, only one version, which will be the GOTY edition, and I will happily pay full price for that on Steam. So, Epic, oh fuck yourself. Oh, and get the free games from Epic.
Yeah, and also I kind of forget about it. Rage 2.
Yeah.
You know that people was kind of confused that Rage 2 were launched on Bethesda launcher without DRM, while on Steam it was in DRM. People thought that that was incompetence, but I think that MLS. Bethesda just launched a DRM version non on Bethesda launcher platform just to boost the sales of Rage 2 on with people who on a principle will buy the game without a DRM.
Mm-hmm.
And when they patched out DRM from Rage 2 on Steam, performance got worse.
Okay.
And I also have a theory that developers actually, at least some developers, tanking performance of their games when they patching out DRM just to create an illusion that no matter if DRM presents or not, game will run the same. And that let's say, sabotage of the game of Rage 2 on Steam made by Bethesda made me strongly believe that some developers will actually sabotage the game so it's run exactly the same with and without DRM.
Yeah, just make it a reason why it runs better on their launcher than somewhere else. Something I always disliked. I have nothing against Uplay, since I'm not playing multiplayer games like Rainbow Six Siege, for example. If the game needs internet, that's fine. If it's a single player game, it's fine. But it's if it's a full multiplayer game, I sometimes have problems on my end. But you buy the game on Steam, you install it through Steam, and it starts freaking Uplay. The same with this year. Even if you buy it on Steam, Rage 2, you do need a freaking Bethesda.net account. You can link those accounts, but I'm not sure if this version would actually start through Steam or if that would start the freaking Bethesda launcher. But that, I'm not sure about that. It kind of feels like that, and if you already need a Bethesda account, might be a fact. I'm not sure about that, but yeah, those are things that always kind of annoyed me. I have a lot of games in Steam from Ubisoft, but pretty much every game I start, I have to start Uplay. But that also means I have it in Uplay and in Steam. So if you have old Ubisoft games in Steam that you don't have in Uplay yet, see if you have the CD key link on the side, and then just activate it in Uplay. In 80 or 90%,
I can't
it works.
activate Assassin's Creed 1 on
Oh,
Uplay. I have
really?
CD key, but I can't activate it.
Okay.
Not every game can do that.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. It's not working with every game. That's actually a game I'm not going into details, but I didn't buy it on German Steam. Yeah, there's no key shown for here. Assassin's Creed 2 would show a CD key. I do have that in Uplay. I think I have all the Assassin's Creeds. Actually, no, I might not have the first one, actually. You might be right about that. No, fan of remastered edition. Can you look at the Ghostbusters video game remastered? Yeah. Yeah, I can do that.
I think we can look at Ghostbusters page in Epic Store and just end it. We already drew the conclusion several times.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have the first Assassin's Creed in Uplay. So yeah, I have the same issue then. I don't even have a CD key, I just have it in Steam. Okay, yeah, let's come to an end, because like I said, I have to do a few things. And then I might go live in a bit again. So I hope, or we hope, that you got something out of our talk and ranting and stuff. Sorry. And there will be a bad game stream.
PlayStation. I'm sorry, Jackson. Omega, PlayStation Store for PC, it's kinda nightmarish. It's hard to navigate.
Okay, yeah, I believe that. So yeah, in a few weeks there will be another bad game stream, followed up by our next topic for our discussional podcast talk show thingy. In brackets, name might be changed.
And I think I'll start recording a voiceover of those streams.
Yeah, you can do that. We should maybe try to put some, I don't know, maybe a 5 or 10 minute preview trailer or something on YouTube, and then link to the video on Twitch or something like that.
Let's see. I'm going to say it in Russian because I have no idea how to say it in English. I'm рукожоп. I have no idea how to edit the trailers and stuff.
I can give you editor rights on my Twitch channel. Then you can use the built-in highlight editor, which is really awesome. You can cut videos and then make a highlight just out of those cuts you made. It's pretty much like a turned down version of Premiere. It's really powerful. It's really good. I just saw a video yesterday about the fact that nobody uses it, but it is really awesome because not many people really watch highlights, I think. But having a way to do that and put that highlight of the good parts or interesting parts or whatever of our discussions as a highlight on Twitch and on YouTube might be idea.
Maybe.
But
well,
we will
that was a plan, but as I said, I'm not planning to do this for first episodes.
So, okay, everybody, that was about it. 2.5 hours again.
Ghostbusters trailer.
Should I? Do you have a link, Omega? I think you sent
I
me.
think you can just open an Epic page. Oh, okay. Amiga will give us a link.
Yeah, since I was mentioning Epic earlier. Oh, Luis
Hey,
wants
I
to.
already said my fuck Epic, so I'm happy.
Yeah, Inside and Celeste is free at the moment, so really looking forward to those games, both wishlisted. Also looking forward to the game that is just shown right now, Ancestors, the Humankind Odyssey. That will be pretty awesome. Alright.
At least it has an interesting concept.
Oh yeah, definitely. It also looks really, really awesome. Alright then, let's see what the remaster of Ghostbusters will be. Should show up fine. No, that cuts it a little bit. The PS4 version of the trailer, okay.
Well, it's kinda granted because it's PlayStation Twitter.
Yeah.
In these trying times, wouldn't you like to do your part to make the world just a little bit safer? If you answered yes, then the Ghostbusters need you.
Dan Aykroyd in the trailer.
Say, is that
I
him?
didn't see him for a
We're
while.
bringing back the classic Ghostbusters game, now in glorious HD resolution, so you'll see every spook, specter, and spirit more vividly. Get ready to suit up, strap on a proton pack and join Spengler, Zeddemore, Venkman, and me as our newest recruit against the paranormal forces of evil. Let's heat 'em up, let 'em rip, and save Manhattan in Ghostbusters, the video game remastered.
Yeah, it actually does look good, but
In these trying times,
I have this game already.
yeah, same for me. I have it on Steam.
And let's say it's not a classic game, because classic games on NES,
Yeah,
two of them are bad, and the one that was a Japanese game like Ghostbusters 2 New, that was actually kinda good.
oh, you cannot even get the original Ghostbusters on Steam anymore? Wow.
Yes,
I didn't.
it was purged from Steam
Oh yeah, no, I
due
have
to
that.
license issues.
I have my own category removed from Steam completely, so it's already in there. Okay, just forgot about it. But yeah, the game, I don't know, for PC it definitely doesn't need a freaking remaster because let's be honest, I mean that still looks pretty decent to me. I mean,
Yes, it's look good.
there is seriously no... Okay, for the PlayStation maybe because it was originally on the PS3, I think. And since the PlayStation 4 isn't download compatible, go fuck yourself. Yeah, but I do have to play that.
I think that they also increased texture quality. I don't know. I don't like 4K textures because they had what was that? Around 50 gigabytes additional space storage, and the games already have like 40, 30, 50 gigabytes on their own. So yeah, I don't like 4K textures.
It was released on the PlayStation 3, Omega, because this game is impossible to be played or managed or be done anyway on the PlayStation 2. It was a 360 and PS3 game, and it was one of the games that showed how much better the Xbox 360 were at that point. Because quality-wise, the PlayStation 3 version looked so bad compared to the Xbox version. On the Xbox, you had sharp textures in all the way in the back, and on the PlayStation, yeah, you had the good quality in front, and then it got so blurry in the back. So a remaster for the PlayStation kind of makes sense because the original looked like shit. The performance was lower, so it was one of those games. The same was with, I think it was GTA 4, where the Xbox was way more capable than the PlayStation 3, even though PlayStation 3 on paper has the better hardware. So,
Okay, I think we can end now.
yeah. Okay, everybody. That being said, Lothar wants to end this. Okay.
We're kind of trying to do that for 10 or 14 minutes.
Yeah, make it 20 or so. Okay, guys. Yeah, that was it. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope you got something out of it. Thanks for the host.
And next time we demand a feedback.
Yeah. Why? Because in the stream title, don't cross the streams unless there's a giant marshmallow man. Okay, everybody. Lothar, do you want to say any your last words? Any last words?
Yeah, play that song.
Oh yeah. Oh wait. Okay. Yeah, we end that with that song. So let me play that, and after the song is done, we are pretty much out. So thanks again for hanging out, and
Yeah, thanks everyone. And again, Mel didn't stick to the end.
no, he didn't. So thanks for hanging out. Time zone appropriate greetings, and I'm gonna play. Should I play the video as well?
Why not? That's actually a Russian production.
No. Okay. Oh wait. Let me open this in YouTube directly. Put it here. Put it there.
That's
Yeah,
just a
right as I'm about to
coincidence,
start.
Cliffy. Or was it?
Ah, was waiting for that. Okay, then go live, then I can rate you. Okay, thanks again. Times are the appropriate greetings, everybody. Have a good one, and Lothar, I'm gonna mute you now for a moment.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, guys, video is coming up. I have no idea what's going on, so enjoy.
Please welcome the game director of Bethesda Game Studios, Todd Howard.
Fan Frustration Festival.
Watch this, a news release. The legendary series you missed for years comes back, get ready for some action. Got a couple bugs in here, smoke scripts right there. The fans fix it anyway, so we don't care. They'll patch it through microtransactions. So enjoy your pretty nylon bag. Oh, and boy, stop shitting on our swag. You're not getting any money back. You knew this was a one-way wacky track. Dish it up and have your nylon bag. Coming up with it was real drag. All proceeds was written to all text, so you're not getting your money back. It just works, it'll last on. It shows people why money flows. It just works. It just works. Overpriced open words, earnings rise. Take my word. It just works. It just works. It just works. It just works. Our tech is cutting edge as far as I can tell. The creation engine aged very well. We're not planning on doing anything about it. Skyrim's a limit, don't deny it. See this mountain, you can buy it. In the DLC for the price of a real mountain. What's wrong with the train in place of your head? Come on, believe me, you see nothing yet. The battle spaceship with the dragon animation will become a new sensation on the internet. Just shut up, give us your every dime. Buying an armored horse is not a crime. Ideas can either shadow me with life, so we'll Skyrim one more time at a time. It just works, little light stunning shows people why money flows. It just works. It just works. Overpriced open worlds, earnings rise. Take my word. place, wash by E like waves. There's 2.5 peasants with the same ugly face. You're not into small towns, check out big ass planes. 50 times the size of Skyrim's twice as many bonus caves. You see, we at Bethesda know exactly what you want. Hugger gamers inspired us to improve shopping a lot. Now we stock that must be bought for an actual 10 spot. And saving now is a pay mod for just 20 a slot. You're never getting bored with infinite quests. There's every vagabond to put you to the test. The bewitched, the awarded with infinite chests. Full of rusty swords and used pregnancy tests. We got rid of skill trees, they were old and lame. We need a leveling system and a role-playing game. We can just slash and kill and save one more nation. No more levels and skills, only degradation.